engage in, then I think it's fair to say we would not have seen over 1,000 of our friends and colleagues even lose their seats in recent local elections, and dozens of councils fall out of Conservative control. Now, I think it's important that we discuss this, because that's hundreds of hard-working, devoted and experienced public servants no longer able to serve, and that's no fault of their own. That's also a huge loss to us on the front line. That's a loss to frontline Conservative activists up and down the country serving their communities. Now, I am one of the first to thank them for their service, and I'm absolutely sorry that actually it's the errors and the mistakes, sometimes of us in Westminster, and our actions that have cost our party dearly across the country, because some of those whose seats were lost may even be here today. And of course, there are serious repercussions and consequences for this. For the first time in 20 years, my friends, we are no longer the largest party in local government. And that actually has devastating implications for communities, in my view, who are now worse off without having local Conservative representation. So for us, this is a moment of reflection, a time to learn and a time to rebuild. And I genuinely believe, actually, we've got to stop this decline. I believe, I've been married to a Conservative councillor, so obviously, I evangelise about this, and sometimes he would have said that's exactly why, we just need to be out there more and more. Because if we're out there visible, working as public servants, being diligent public servants in our communities, then we will absolutely ensure that the heart of the Conservative Party remains strong and active at the grassroots, and also connected to the MPs and the party as well. But of course, we have to reflect upon the last 12 months, and we've heard this today as well. I know colleagues Jacob and others have spoken about this. We haven't covered ourselves in glory. And in fact, some parts of Westminster and colleagues have done a better job at damaging our party than the opposition, even the left-wing campaign groups, the civil service, which, we all struggle with day in, day out. And even, I'm afraid, some of those in the media that want to distort and make life difficult for us. We have seen, as discussed today, the ousting of a democratically elected, in fact, our most electorally successful Prime Minister since Margaret Thatcher. And we should pay tribute, actually, not just to Boris, but to all of you at the grassroots, because I'm no fan of December general elections, but if we can have them again and again and get 80-seat majorities, and quite frankly, it's worth it. But we can only do that through strong leadership, and we can only do that when strong leadership motivates the base, which is all of you. He was a man that got Brexit done, led our country through a global pandemic, and of course, delivered on the people's priorities. Now, I say this for an important reason. Being democratically elected matters. It matters to us as the party grassroots, but it also is important to reflect that, colleagues in Westminster, by making the changes that took place last year, have also, and we've heard this today, have turned their back on the membership and effectively broken that golden thread in terms of the democracy from the bottom of the party right up to the top. And we have to rebuild that, we really do. And I fundamentally believe in that. I've spoken about this for so long. Over the last 10 years, in fact, I believe in democratisation in our party. And it is obvious that you are all angered. Our members are angry about what has happened. And it has undermined that famous bond of trust. Trust has been the word that's been used again and again today. That trust between our membership and the leadership of our party. Our party's reputation is suffering because of that as well. And we've been taking a battering with the general public. And of course, with that, this has repercussions on the pledges, what we are, who we stand for, all the promises and the opportunities that we offered back in 2019, and now virtually look as if they're being rewritten. And that once-in-a-generation opportunity the people have given and trusted us to transform our country, as Jacob said earlier on today when it comes to EU matters, looks like it's being diluted and frittered away. And what, at the end of the day, radical, innovative, Conservative manifesto that we all got behind back in 2019, which reflected our values and our beliefs, we can't let that be confined to a corner somewhere. We have to stand up and continue to champion that. And I think in good news, folks, that's exactly why we're all here today, because we're committed to rebuilding, not just at a national level, but standing up and making sure our voices are heard at the grassroots, making it more democratic, fighting for the survival of our party and our values. And this is important because if we don't, no one's going to do it on our behalf. That is a fact. So to Peter's point, we do need to